Good morning, everyone. Life has a way of revealing the truth, not through force, not through desperation, but through time. Sometimes we are faced with situations where we feel the urge to chase, to demand justice, to prove our worth. But wisdom teaches us otherwise. Time is the most relentless force in existence. It moves forward without hesitation, without bias, and without mercy. No matter how much we wish to control outcomes, time always has the final say. People may deceive, manipulate, or hide behind illusions, but time will strip away every falsehood and leave only the truth behind. We often feel the urge to act immediately, to fix things ourselves, to demand justice on our terms. But time teaches us patience. It whispers that not everything needs an immediate response. Sometimes the best action is no action at all. By allowing time to unfold naturally, we give space for life to arrange events in ways we could never orchestrate it on our own. Think about the strongest trees, how they do not rush their growth. They stand firm, weathering storms, knowing that time will make them stronger. The same applies to life. We do not need to force people to see our worth. We do not need to chase validation or beg for recognition. In time, everything hidden will come to light, and everything meant for us will arrive. Time humbles even the most arrogant. Those who believe they can escape consequences often find themselves face to face with their past, unable to outrun the weight of their own decisions. The ones who betray, deceive, or take advantage of others eventually face the reality they try to ignore. It may take months, years, or even decades, but time never forgets. Every wound heals with time, every lie unravels with time, and every deception crumbles beneath the weight of time. The things that once seemed unfair or unbearable become lessons, and the people who once held power over us lose their grip. Time does not favor anyone, it only reveals. We live in an era of instant gratification, where people seek immediate results. But the greatest victories are not won in haste. They are earned through patience, perseverance, and the quiet confidence of knowing that time will take care of what we cannot control. The ones who wait, who trust, who refuse to lower themselves to desperation, these are the ones who time rewards. The beauty of time is that it works in silence. It does not announce its plans or make promises. It simply moves, arranging pieces, shifting circumstances, and bringing justice in ways we never expected. It is the ultimate equalizer, reminding us that no one is above its reach. This is why we must never act out of fear, anger, or desperation. When we trust in time, we learn to let go of what is beyond our control. We stop seeking revenge, stop forcing outcomes, and instead allow life to unfold as it should. And in doing so, we gain something far greater than fleeting satisfaction. We gain wisdom, peace, and the unshakable understanding that time will always do its work. To those who have wronged us, to those who have underestimated us, to those who believe they can escape accountability, there is no need for us to chase. Because time will break them. There is a natural instinct within us to chase after what we feel we have lost. Whether it is a person, an opportunity, or even justice, we often believe that if we run fast enough, if we fight hard enough, we can regain control. But what if the real power is in stopping? What if the true victory lies not in pursuit, but in stillness? When you stop chasing, you reclaim your energy. Every time you run after something or someone, you are giving away your power. You are saying, I need this to feel complete. I need this to feel worthy. But the truth is, nothing outside of you determines your worth. The moment you choose to stand still, to let things come to you, instead of chasing them, you begin to attract what is truly meant for you. Not everything that walks away from you is a loss. Sometimes what you are chasing was never meant to stay. We often hold on too tightly to people and situations that no longer serve us simply because we fear letting go. But if something was truly meant for you, it would not require endless pursuit. What is yours will recognize your value without you having to prove it. Chasing often leads to exhaustion, frustration, and disappointment. The more we run after something, the more it seems to slip through our fingers. This is because desperation repels while confidence attracts. The moment you stop chasing, you shift the power dynamic. You allow things to flow naturally instead of forcing them into existence. Consider the people who left your life, the opportunities that seemed to escape your grasp. Did they truly bring you peace? Or did they only create more longing, more uncertainty, more struggle? When we chase, we ignore the signs. We become blind to the reality that maybe, just maybe, life is guiding us towards something better, something that doesn't require us to run after it. Walking away does not mean you have given up. It means you have chosen yourself. It means you trust that what is meant for you will never require you to lose yourself in pursuit. It means you understand that true strength is not in holding on, but in knowing when to let go. Those who are meant to be in your life, those who truly value you, will never put you in a position where you have to chase them. Time has a way of revealing who truly belongs in your life. The ones who took you for granted, who thought you would always be there, will eventually feel the emptiness of your absence. They will realize that what they once ignored was something they should have cherished. But by then, you will be far beyond the need for their validation. When you stop chasing, you gain clarity. You begin to see things as they truly are, not as you wish them to be. You understand that your peace is worth more than any forced relationship, any unattainable goal, or any battle not meant for you to fight. You start to prioritize yourself, and in doing so, you open the door for the right things to come naturally. So stand still. Breathe. Let what is meant for you find you. Let time reveal what truly belongs in your life. You don't need to chase because what is real, what is yours, will never require you to run after it. Your worth is not determined by who stays, who leaves, or who fails to see your value. It is not defined by the opinions of others, nor is it dependent on their recognition. True self-worth comes from within. It is an unshakable knowing that you are enough, just as you are. No external validation, no amount of approval, and no level of acceptance from others can give you what must already exist inside you. Too often, we seek our value in the eyes of others. We measure our worth based on how someone treats us, whether they choose us, whether they appreciate us. But when we do this, we give away our power. We allow others to dictate how we feel about ourselves, forgetting that their inability to see our worth does not diminish it. A diamond remains valuable whether someone acknowledges it or not. People will come and go. Some will cherish you, while others will take you for granted. Some will recognize your light, and others will be blind to it. But none of this changes your essence. If someone fails to see your worth, that is their loss, not yours. You should never have to prove yourself to those who are unwilling to see what is already in front of them. Self-worth means understanding that you do not need to beg for love, attention, or respect. It means walking away from those who make you feel like you are not enough. It means setting boundaries and refusing to settle for less than what you deserve. The moment you truly recognize your value, you stop entertaining situations that make you question it. When you know your worth, you become unshaken by rejection, indifference, or loss. You no longer chase after people who do not appreciate you because you understand that your presence is a gift. You no longer tolerate mistreatment because you realize that real love, real respect, and real appreciation do not require suffering. There is strength in self-assurance. When you carry yourself with confidence, people notice. The world treats you differently when you treat yourself with the respect you deserve. Those who once ignored you may suddenly seek your attention, but by then you will have outgrown the need for their approval. You will have learned that their validation was never necessary to begin with. Your worth is not found in comparison. It is not determined by someone else's success, beauty, or achievements. It is not lessened because another person is chosen over you. You are unique, incomparable, and valuable in ways that no one else can replicate. The only person you should seek to impress is the one staring back at you in the mirror. True self-worth is quiet confidence. It does not demand attention or seek validation. It does not lower itself for temporary acceptance. It stands tall, knowing that what is meant for it will come, and what is not meant for it was never a loss to begin with. It refuses to shrink to make others comfortable. So hold your head high. Know your value. Refuse to settle. You were never meant to convince anyone of your worth. You were meant to recognize it for yourself. There is a silent force at play in the universe, aligning things in ways we cannot always see or understand. When you stop chasing, stop forcing, and simply trust in the process, you allow this force to work in your favor. What is truly meant for you will never require you to fight desperately for it. It will come when the time is right, in ways that make sense later, even if they don't right now. Too often we try to control everything. We believe that if we push hard enough, if we chase fast enough, we can make things happen on our terms. But the universe does not operate on demand. It moves at its own pace, arranging the right opportunities, people, and lessons at exactly the moments we need them. When we learn to trust instead of force, we realize that things unfold in perfect timing. Think back to times in your life when something didn't work out the way you wanted. Maybe you were rejected from a job, lost a relationship, or missed an opportunity. In the moment, it felt like failure. But looking back, you see how those losses led you somewhere better. The universe knew what you needed, even when you didn't. What seemed like rejection was actually redirection. When you believe that the universe is working for you and not against you, you stop chasing things that are not meant for you. You no longer beg for people to stay, force doors open that are meant to stay closed, or hold on to situations that drain you. Instead, you move with faith, knowing that if something is truly yours, it will come effortlessly without resistance. Trusting the universe does not mean sitting idly by and doing nothing. It means doing your part, becoming the best version of yourself, putting in the effort where needed, but then releasing the outcome. It means knowing that after you've done your part, you don't need to stress over what happens next. You can rest in the confidence that what is meant to be will find its way to you. Have you ever noticed how the right things seem to fall into place when you stop forcing them? A person you least expected enters your life at the perfect moment. An opportunity appears when you're finally ready for it. A struggle that once felt unbearable suddenly makes sense in hindsight. These are not coincidences. These are signs that the universe is always at work, guiding you toward where you're meant to be. Doubt, fear, and impatience often make us question the process. We become anxious when things don't happen on our timeline. But when you trust that everything is happening for your highest good, you let go of the stress. You begin to understand that delays are not denials, they are just pauses meant to align things in a way that serves you best. People who chase often believe that they must fight for everything in life, but real power comes from knowing when to step back and let things flow. The universe is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. It is constantly working to align you with the experiences and people that match your energy. When you trust this, you move differently, you become more patient, more confident, and more at peace with the journey. So let go of the need to control everything. Trust in divine timing. Know that every closed door, every unanswered prayer, and every unexpected detour is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. The universe is not against you, it is setting you up for something greater than you can even imagine. Life operates on a balance of energy. What you put out into the world eventually comes back to you. This is the essence of karma. Whether through actions, words, or intentions, everything we do creates ripples that will one day return to us. Those who harm others, betray trust, or act without integrity may believe they have escaped the consequences, but time ensures that no deed, good or bad, goes unnoticed. People who mistreat others often do so believing they will never face repercussions. They take advantage of kindness, deceive without remorse, and manipulate for personal gain. In the short term, it may seem as if they have won, as if their actions have no consequence. But karma is not always immediate. It works silently, patiently, waiting for the right moment to deliver its lesson. The consequences of one's actions do not always appear in obvious ways. Sometimes they come in the form of missed opportunities, relationships that fall apart, or inner restlessness that no amount of success can cure. A person may believe they are thriving after mistreating others, but internally they carry the weight of their actions. Guilt, regret, and dissatisfaction eventually surface, reminding them of the harm they caused. Just as negative actions bring negative consequences, positive actions bring positive returns. Those who act with kindness, honesty, and sincerity may not always see immediate rewards, but life remembers. The energy they put out attracts people, opportunities, and experiences that align with their goodness. The universe does not forget those who move with pure intentions. Many times we wish to see karma in action. We want justice to be swift, to witness the downfall of those who have wronged us. But karma does not operate on our timeline. It unfolds naturally, often in ways we do not expect. It is not our responsibility to ensure that people face the consequences of their actions. Life will take care of that. Sometimes, the best revenge is no revenge at all. When you let go of resentment and allow time to do its work, you free yourself from the burden of negativity. Instead of waiting for someone else's downfall, you focus on your own growth, your own peace. And in doing so, you rise above the very people who sought to bring you down. Karma is not always about punishment, it is about lessons. People who continuously harm others eventually find themselves in situations where they experience the pain they once caused. Life has a way of making sure that everyone learns, whether through personal loss, failure, or the realization that they have burned too many bridges. We must trust that justice is always at play, even when we cannot see it. Those who move with dishonesty and selfishness may seem to prosper in the moment, but their foundation is weak. The truth always comes to light, and when it does, they will be forced to face the reality they tried to escape. So, instead of seeking revenge or dwelling on the wrongs done to you, focus on yourself. Let go of the need to control karma, because it is already in motion. Time will ensure that every action meets its rightful consequence. Arrogance is a temporary illusion of power. Those who believe themselves untouchable, superior, or beyond consequence often fail to realize that time is always watching. Pride may lift them high, but time has a way of ensuring that every unchecked ego eventually meets its fall. No one is exempt from the lessons of humility, and those who refuse to learn them willingly will be forced to learn them the hard way. Arrogant people often mistake temporary success for permanent security. They believe that their current position, influence, or status will protect them forever. They walk through life treating others with disrespect, assuming that their power is eternal. But time is a great equalizer. No matter how high someone rises, they will eventually be reminded that life can change in an instant. History is filled with stories of those who were brought down by their own arrogance. Kings, leaders, and influential figures who believed they were untouchable eventually faced downfall. It wasn't an external force that destroyed them, it was their own pride. When people refuse to acknowledge their flaws, their weaknesses grow in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to collapse everything they built. Arrogance blinds people to reality. It makes them believe they are invincible, that they do not need others, and that they can treat people however they please without consequence. But no one climbs to the top alone. The same people they disregard, the same ones they step on, are often the ones who hold the power to expose their weaknesses. The most dangerous thing about arrogance is that it creates isolation. Those who are consumed by their own self-importance push away the very people who could help them. They stop listening, stop learning, and stop growing. In their mind, they are always right, always superior. But time does not favor those who refuse to evolve. Eventually, their isolation becomes their greatest downfall. There comes a moment when the arrogant person realizes that they are not as powerful as they once believed. It may be when their influence fades, when their success crumbles, or when the people they mistreated no longer tolerate their presence. It may come through personal loss, through failure, or through an unexpected turn of events that forces them to confront their own humanity. Many times, the downfall of the arrogant is not loud or dramatic. It is slow, quiet, and humiliating. They do not fall because of a single mistake, but because of the countless moments they ignored wisdom, kindness, and humility. Their pride builds the walls that eventually trap them, leaving them alone with nothing but regret. The world does not favor those who remain arrogant forever. Even if they rise for a time, their fall is inevitable. People respect confidence, but they reject prideful ignorance. A person who refuses to acknowledge their flaws will eventually be confronted by them in ways they never expected. So let them believe they are untouchable. Let them live in the illusion that they will never fall. Time is watching, and time is patient. No one escapes the lessons of humility. Growth is not always visible. It does not always come in the form of achievements, wealth, or recognition. True growth happens within through the silent battles we fight, the lessons we learn, and the resilience we build. While the world measures success by external accomplishments, the most powerful transformation happens in the depths of the soul, where no one else can see. Inner growth begins with self-awareness. It requires the courage to look within, to recognize our flaws, and to acknowledge that holes that hold us back. Many people avoid this process because it is uncomfortable. It is easier to blame others, to ignore our weaknesses, and to pretend that we have already arrived at our best selves. But real transformation demands honesty. It asks us to face ourselves completely, even the parts we would rather hide. Pain is often the greatest teacher of inner growth. The moments that break us, the experiences that test us, and the struggles that push us to our limits are not punishments, they are opportunities. They strip away the illusions we hold about ourselves and force us to rebuild from the ground up. Growth is rarely comfortable, but it is always necessary. One of the hardest parts of inner growth is letting go of past versions of ourselves, of toxic attachments, of limiting beliefs. We cannot move forward if we are still clinging to what no longer serves us. Many people resist change because it feels like loss, but in reality, it is an expansion. Growth requires space, and sometimes that means releasing what we once thought we needed. As we grow, our priorities shift. What once mattered deeply may lose its importance. The things we once chased may no longer excite us. This is a sign of evolution, not failure. Inner growth teaches us to seek meaning over validation, peace over attention, and purpose over temporary satisfaction. We begin to understand that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external approval. With growth comes self-respect. When we understand our own worth, we stop tolerating what diminishes us. We set boundaries, we walk away from harmful situations, and we choose ourselves unapologetically. Growth is not about becoming invincible, it is about recognizing our value and refusing to settle for less than what we deserve. Inner growth also brings emotional maturity. We stop reacting impulsively, stop taking everything personally, and stop allowing external circumstances to control our inner peace. We learn to choose our battles wisely, to respond with wisdom instead of anger, and to find strength in silence. Maturity is not about suppressing emotions, it is about mastering them. Perhaps the greatest sign of inner growth is learning to trust the process. Life does not always unfold the way we expect, but everything happens for a reason. Instead of resisting change, we learn to embrace it. Instead of fearing the unknown, we welcome it as part of our journey. Growth teaches us that even in the hardest moments, we are being shaped into who we are meant to become. Growth is a lifelong journey. It does not happen overnight, and it does not have a final destination. There will always be new lessons, new challenges, and new versions of ourselves waiting to be discovered. The key is to keep evolving, to keep learning, and to never stop becoming better than we were yesterday. Letting go is often mistaken for weakness, as if walking away means giving up. But in reality, letting go requires far more strength than holding on. It takes immense courage to release what no longer serves us, to detach from people, places, and situations that we once thought we could not live without. True strength is found in the ability to accept that some things are not meant to stay. Holding on is easy because it is familiar. We cling to relationships out of fear of loneliness, to memories out of nostalgia, and to past versions of ourselves because change is uncomfortable. But the more we hold on to what has already run its course, the more we limit our own growth. Strength is not in refusing to let go, it is in knowing when to. Letting go does not mean forgetting or denying the impact of what was. It does not mean that what we had was insignificant or that the love, the time, and the effort were wasted. It simply means understanding that everything has its season. Some people are only meant to be chapters in our story, not the entire book. The hardest part of letting go is the emotional attachment. Even when we know something is no longer good for us, our hearts resist. We hold on to the hope that things will change, that people will realize our worth, that situations will improve. But strength comes from accepting reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. There is freedom and release. When we let go, we make space for new opportunities, new connections, and new experiences that align with who we are becoming. Growth requires room, and when we cling to the past, we prevent ourselves from embracing the future. Sometimes what we are holding on to is the very thing keeping us stuck. Letting go is also an act of self-respect. It means refusing to beg for love, attention, or validation. It means knowing our worth and not settling for less than what we deserve. The strongest people are not those who chase what is slipping away, but those who have the wisdom to walk away with grace. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The longer we hold on to what is meant to be released, the longer we prolong our own suffering. True strength is found in the ability to endure the pain of detachment, knowing that in time we will heal. Letting go is not just about losing, it is about making space for something better. Not everything lost is a loss. Sometimes the things we let go of are the very things that were holding us back. What seems painful in the moment may later reveal itself as a blessing. Time has a way of showing us why certain endings were necessary for our personal evolution. Strength is not in how tightly we hold on, but in how gracefully we let go. It is in trusting that what is meant for us will always find its way, and what is not meant for us will never stay, no matter how much we fight for it. Life does not always unfold the way we expect. There are moments of uncertainty, setbacks that feel unfair, and challenges that seem impossible to overcome. In these times, it is easy to question whether we are on the right path, whether our efforts will ever pay off. But trusting the process means believing that everything is happening as it should, even when we cannot see the full picture. Patience is one of the hardest lessons in life. We want answers now, results immediately, and progress without delay. But growth does not work that way. Just like a seed planted in the soil takes time to sprout, our dreams, goals, and personal transformations require time to manifest. Rushing the process only leads to frustration. Trusting it means understanding that every step, even the slow ones, is part of something greater. There will be moments when nothing seems to be working. You will feel stuck, as if your efforts are wasted and your path is leading nowhere. But trust that beneath the surface, changes are happening. The work you put in today, even if it seems invisible, is laying the foundation for tomorrow. The universe operates on its own timeline, not yours. Setbacks are not signs of failure, they are redirections. Many times, what seems like a dead end is actually a detour leading you to something better. When things do not go as planned, it is easy to feel defeated, but trusting the process means understanding that rejection, delays, and unexpected turns are all part of a bigger plan designed for your highest good. Trusting the process does not mean sitting back and waiting for life to happen. It means doing your part, putting in the effort, making the right choices, and staying committed to your growth. But once you have done all you can, you must release the need to control the outcome. Worrying about the when and how only creates stress. Let go and let life unfold in its own time. Doubt is natural, especially when results take longer than expected. You may compare your progress to others and wonder why things are not happening for you the way they are for them. But everyone's journey is different. What is meant for you will never miss you, and what is not meant for you will never stay. Trusting the process means focusing on your own path without constantly looking at someone else's. Growth is often uncomfortable. The process will test you, break you, and then push you beyond your limits. But every challenge is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Without struggle, there is no strength. Without patience, there is no wisdom. The process is not meant to be easy, it is meant to prepare you for what is coming. Many of the things we once worried about eventually work themselves out. What seemed like an impossible situation at one point later became a story of survival and strength. If you look back, you will see that life has always guided you, even when it felt like everything was falling apart. Trusting the process means remembering that if you made it through before, you will make it through again. Faith in the process is not just about believing in a better future, it is about finding peace in the present. It is about knowing that even in the waiting, even in the uncertainty, everything is aligning for your good. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. And in time, everything will make sense. T, the heart of it all. Life is a journey of lessons, growth, and transformation. We may not always understand why things happen the way they do, but every experience, good or bad, shapes us into who we are meant to be. The pain of letting go, the trials of patience, and the silent battles of inner growth all serve a purpose. They prepare us for what is ahead and mold us into stronger, wiser, and more resilient individuals. Time is always working, even when we cannot see it. The people who once seemed invincible will face their reckoning. The struggles that once felt unbearable will lead to breakthroughs. The doubts that cloud our minds will eventually clear, revealing the wisdom we gained along the way. Everything falls into place when it is meant to, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. So, instead of chasing, trust. Instead of holding on to what no longer serves you, release. Instead of fearing the unknown, embrace the journey. Because in the end, time will bring clarity, justice, and peace. And when you look back, you will realize that everything happened exactly as it was meant to.